Welcome to Rebel Watch, an all-Star Wars podcast.
Hey, what are you trying to push on us?
Perhaps you think you're being treated unfairly?
Is the dark side stronger?
It's the ultimate question, isn't it?
I mean, think about it, right? That's what Luke asked, right? Is the dark side stronger?
And doesn't Yoda seem a little dismissive of the question?
No. It's a good question.
From a certain point of view,
Right?
It is.
Oh, my gosh.
That's a really good question.
I know. It's one we are going to answer in episode 9.
Do you think so?
I think we are. Yeah. We're going to explore the natures of the Force, you know?
And you think that's just going to be it? That's the last of the saga installments?
No way. No, there's no way.
Too much of a money maker.
Yeah, there's also just too much story to tell, so.
True.
Oh my gosh. Anyways, welcome to Rebel Watch.
Yeah.
We're talking about, episode 9. And we like to speculate, my friend.
We do.
We like to look into the future. The dark side does cloud things, but we enjoy taking a gander.
Absolutely.
And seeing what we can see, my friend.
It's always emotion. The future is, so sometimes we're not right.
Right.
Sometimes we're dead on.
Sometimes we're dead on.
Most of the time we're dead on.
You know what's funny is that the most relevant podcast and video we ever did was what was it called again? Jack. What was
Who left Ray on Jakku?
Who left Ray on Jakku?
That video, of all the theory videos out there, still has a relevance. Still could be very true.
Still very much like that's the that might even be the question, right?
Yeah.
That's the key to everything.
We could probably still talk about that.
Oh, we totally can.
We still can.
That actually still matters. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's like we didn't get any of those answers. It's still important. The Falcon is there, right? Why is she there? Who left her there?
Yeah. I think there's going to be a surprise appearance by Harrison Ford in episode 9, and it's going to be a flashback.
Yeah.
It's going to be him leaving her on Jakku.
It could be. You've got you've got the old man there, right? Kind of looking over things. Yeah. Member of the Force of the Church of the Force or something like that. So
Lor Santeca.
Lor Santeca.
Yep.
Good old Lor Santeca.
A name we haven't heard in a while.
I haven't heard that in a bit.
That's yet to be investigated.
Yeah, I know. Right. Exactly.
They never mentioned his name in the movie.
Right. Those. That connection. Now, what's really intriguing to me is that there must be something in episode 9 that they can use that Carrie Fisher filmed back in episode 7.
Yeah.
And
we talked about it last podcast.
We did, but I'm still, searching for what that could be.
Hologram.
Yeah, I mean, what was it? What truth did she tell? Who was she talking to? Was there something that they spliced up? You know what I'm saying? It's like, man.
Was it a hologram for Ben saying you had a sister?
Wow. That'd be something, wouldn't it? That'd be crazy.
Drops an Obi-Wan on him.
That would be that would be it.
That would, there's a lie.
Yeah.
Will she reveal the lie? Will her message reveal, you mentioned there's a lie somewhere.
Someone has lied to us.
Yes.
Yeah.
So will that be revealed?
Yeah.
Well, you think so?
I think so. I think one of the things that you're talking about is the idea that Rey could have been, born to Leia, and maybe, and again, there's no recollection.
None.
Like nothing. I mean, they would sense each other in the Force and things like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I really don't, buy that, but I do like the idea that maybe, she's been. Whoever she was born to, sort of foresaw something. There was some vision. There was some stowaway that needed to happen.
Yeah.
So I'm into that.
I'm absolutely into that.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's a bit of a stretch for us to think. I think Han and Leia are involved in some way. I just don't really know exactly how. And again, they're just keeping it close to the chest. Now, something that you told me about Adam Driver's interview.
Yeah, I was trying to pull that up right here.
Oh, were you?
Yep.
Okay. Well, as you pull that up, I'll kind of I think we're going to play some of it maybe.
Yeah. If I can find a clip, I'm definitely gonna try.
Okay, we'll see. But we'll go over it here in a bit. But we're going to come back to that because he is definitely said some things that have got me thinking, bringing back, rehashing some old theories and ideas on what his role, what Kylo Ren's role is in Episode 9, just in general going forward, and it's something we might look back on, 8 and 7, and kind of see some breadcrumbs that were left possibly in his acting and what have you. But we'll get back to that. A couple more things we want to kind of talk about. We're just going to speculate, man.
Yeah.
We're just absolutely going to sit
Screw
here and
the segments.
No, I mean, it's just this is one of those just a straightforward Episode 9 speculation. What's going on? A couple things that we wanted to kind of rant about at first. We got like two things. I've got one. Mike has one, and then we'll move on to our hopes and dreams for Episode 9.
That's right.
I was just listening to a theory the other day, and it was about Rey being a clone.
Yeah.
And I've seen it wasn't. I think it was Generation Tech. It wasn't the only person who had posted that idea. So that's. But he associated it with the mirror experience, right?
Yeah.
In the cave, and was drawing a lot of. I like it seems to kind of you could make it work.
It's very literal though. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like repeating herself over and over like she's a clone. It's too easy.
Yeah, right.
It's
I know.
too easy,
I don't know. Yeah. Well, and then there's so he went back to the cave on Dagobah, and that Yoda says that he says what's in there, and Luke says what's in there, and Yoda says only what you take with you, and so he took in with this fear of turning into maybe turning to the dark side. He's questioning is it more powerful? He's learning about it. And so he doesn't want to fall to the dark side, so he's in there, and he has the whole confrontation with Vader. There was another situation where he brought up, I was trying to remember, oh my gosh, he was talking about the video game series, Galen,
The Force Unleashed.
yeah. And the idea that he's a clone, and that in the second one, it's a lot of this reoccurring clone theme stuff, Palpatine being cloned at one point, and different things. So, Palpatine actually used cloning technology and cloned the Jedi Master that deceives Luke in the Thrawn trilogy. He
cloned himself, didn't he?
Yeah.
So something we need to let go of, don't you think?
Yeah, I don't know, and it's like it's not a terrible thought. I mean, it's honestly not. It's I can totally see where he's coming from. I guess I'm just when I hear it, it's one of those things you're like, I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah. Same.
I hope that's not the truth. I hope that's not where it's at. But because I do want to know, and if she's a clone of who?
Yeah. Like
that was my big question. Is it like, so if she's a clone, okay, we still would like to know who her parents are.
Yeah.
And where she comes from. Why is she this specimen that's
when you say clone, I mean, I'm thinking an exact replica of
something else.
Exactly,
me too.
Not parts of Luke's hand.
Exactly.
Like that.
Yeah, to create a female. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's not. I don't know. And that gentleman didn't really go on to explain. That much further. Like, is it her being some other past character?
I cannot imagine a hand baby. Okay,
No,
that's crazy,
it's
man.
Too much.
That's
to
too
put
much
in this last movie.
No,
that's
it's crazy.
Too much.
But so anyways, I wanted to just toss it out there. We had been doing some searches on the internets there, and
I'll say what I did. I like the comparison he's making with the cave scenes, though.
Me too.
Because there's something there that we don't quite understand. But if we're to look back and think about Yoda saying, only what you take with you.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe her seeing herself replicated time and time. It's just she doesn't know much more about herself. She sees what she thinks is the past and her parents. It's really just her. That's just her maybe not knowing anything, and or maybe she's purposely being, brainwashed, or someone did something to her to make her forget something of her past, and all she knows is this right now, and it's very confusing. And maybe that's just confusion is what she is right now. She's confused about her path. Is it Kylo? Is it Luke? Is it
Right.
It's almost just more uncertainty than anything, I think, is what she is taking with her right now. She is not certain what the future holds. So I like that comparison, but not so much so like that she's a clone. I feel like that's a way big stretch.
Yeah, it is. It is a complete. I mean, I've been racking my brain to kind of figure out maybe our own take on that. Like you said, like what is it that she is bringing with her in there? And you're saying kind of confusion and things. And the other thing you could go with is possibly some tampering. Like you said, she's been tampered with in her mind in some way, and what she would have seen had she been untampered, she can't see.
Yeah,
you know, because of some force manipulation of some kind. You know.
And what would have been cool if that's what's going on, if in The Last Jedi we saw, I mean, because she has the moment where she touches Luke's lightsaber, but then after that, I mean, she's holding that lightsaber all the time and nothing happens. So I kind of would have liked to have seen maybe some more flashbacks, and then like episode 9, she puts it all together and it's some crazy reveal. Like that would have been epic.
Yeah.
Because 7 and 8, I don't know why I said 8 and 9, 7 and 8, like it's just, I don't know. The whole flashback, she's seeing little bits of thing, but then nothing.
Man, I'll tell you what, you're onto something with the lightsaber thing, and that she touching that, kind of that it called
a trigger, right?
It called to her that crystal, that kyber crystal is calling to her, right?
And wouldn't it be cool if that broke at the end and she's like, "No, I needed that to, like, I was making connections with that, and it meant so much more." And then maybe in 9 there's a reveal like, you don't need that, like, you're making your own destiny. I don't know.
Yeah,
it could have been
she has to repair what's broken.
Yeah, exactly.
That too. So she might, maybe there is another vision to come when the crystal has been restored.
Could have been a lesson she learns from Yoda or Luke or something. I don't know. But yeah, I was kind of wondering, like, that was a powerful moment.
Right.
A lot of speculation out of that moment, and then she just kind of wields the thing the whole time, and nothing else ever happens. Maybe it was just a one-time thing, and it'll make sense later.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that's why they have, oh goodness, JJ in the position now, because I think they're realizing, like, we like what Ryan did, most of it, but like some of that stuff's gotta connect. It's really missing that, and people need that. So smart move. But clones, I'm done with them.
Yeah, I'm done with clones.
We need to leave that in Legends.
I know, but it wouldn't surprise. It wouldn't. I mean, surprise me. So.
I could see it in television, maybe some of the new series, but maybe Boba's a clone. The Mandalorian's a Boba clone.
Sure, something like right.
Right.
Yep. But you had kind of a grievance you wanted to kind of talk about here, right?
Let me get this off my chest. So we were watching football, and while I'm watching football, I'm also looking up Star Wars articles.
Great.
It's complicated life.
Life we live.
Complicated life. So the Screen Rant article came out today. Really caught my attention. They have a theory for episode 9. And so the article is titled "Flashbacks Will Finally Show Full Power Jedi Master Luke," which caught my attention. And pretty much the article, I didn't even get to read the whole thing. But they're saying that in episode 7, we obviously didn't see any Luke Skywalker other than the end. He just standing there.
Yep.
Cool. I'm like, yeah, it makes sense, because they say, basically they're saying that episode 9 we could finally see kind of a full true Jedi Master. And then in The Force Awakens, we never saw that, which, we all agree with that. And then they say, audience only got a brief glimpse as Luke in Star Wars Force Awakens, for seeing more of his life as a hermit, and certainly not a Jedi Master, in Rian Johnson's Star Wars The Last Jedi. To cap it off, Luke also died in Star Wars The Last Jedi, which was a result of him overexerting himself by using the Force. Needless to say, that decision to kill off one of the most beloved characters in fiction was met with divisiveness among fans. But that doesn't mean Star Wars The Last Jedi was the final time fans were going to see Hamill as Luke Skywalker. So that it upset me a little bit, Ez.
Yeah, go ahead.
We talked about in past episodes just how that moment where Luke is portraying himself across the galaxy, how that was a true master moment.
It would take a master to do
It
that.
would take him. It killed a master to do
did.
it.
Yes, it did.
So I didn't see Snoke doing it.
No,
I didn't see anyone else doing it.
Right.
And for them to say that he never had that moment, that upsets me because I feel like he did have that moment.
Yeah.
And it took everything out of him.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things, Kylo had said there to Rey when he maybe, I think, because when he saw Rey, he saw her where, like, he couldn't really see her surroundings. She couldn't really see. They just saw each other. And so it seems like a force projection. And he says, this isn't you.
Yeah.
The force of it would kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so he seems to understand that this is not something anyone can pull off. Like what's going on.
Yeah.
And so, you learn that there's that the connection was there, but that Snoke helped bridge the connection.
Yeah.
But the connection was already there.
That wasn't just Snoke.
I think Snoke took way more credit than what he should have.
Absolutely.
Because it was there in the beginning before, their Snoke ever is involved. So, but I get what you're saying because it was that self-sacrifice. He projected himself across the galaxy, not just around the corner, but like had to go there and focus and keep up the illusion and distract. And as I look back and I've been watching The Last Jedi, the one thing I wish that they would have done is that it sucks that the characters had to infer that Luke wanted them to vacate. That was the one thing, So
gotcha.
If I have to, because people have called me, a lot of things.
A shill?
A lot of
That's
things.
one.
Yeah, but I'm a fan of Rian Johnson. I'm a fan of The Last Jedi. But if I had to, there are a couple things like that, little things where it's sort of like, I wish maybe he connected with Leia in the Force somehow, and she passed on But I know they're trying to give Poe that moment that he's the leader, he's rising, he figured this out, type of thing. But even if he could have given him like a nod or a wink or something, that would have done it for me. He's like, okay.
Yeah, it did seem a little disconnected. They didn't even really know who he was because remember they were like, "Is that?" And he's like, "I think so."
Yeah. So what if
something like that?
So again, what if they wouldn't have ran away? You know, a type of thing.
You're right though.
Now
it is Poe's moment to see that they're creating a diversion. He's creating a diversion, just like Holdo was doing, and so.
Now the other thing you could explain, the way I've explained it in my head, is that Luke is seeing all of this, right, and he knows that Rey is coming through that direction because, as far as we know, she is going to try to come in the back door essentially. So she would have possibly ushered them out too. So it gives Poe the moment. Yeah. Rey's coming. He still thinks he's giving Rey time. So. Yeah, because I kind of had a little bit of a conflict with that, but then I resolved it just by saying, well, he was in touch with Rey, and she was coming in through the back.
Yeah, I feel that way too. I wanted them to connect a little more with him. Luke's on board. Yeah, and I mean, you saw a little bit of it in the novelization when he was on the island, and he was like, she was right, like this and that. I need to help him.
Right,
but you don't get that out of the movie. You don't. It would have been nice to have that connection where they all could, Luke's on our side now, but
right, and it is cool because it does create this legendary moment.
Yeah,
he is a legend once.
Exactly.
I mean, he has been a legend. He has been meant so much to the galaxy. And I think the cool thing is that the one thing that they did that I actually, I like the less they tell me, I guess right now about Master Skywalker and leading up to. Him creating his own temple. I can go look at the video game Battlefront, 2, and I can look at Legends books, and I can say to myself, he went on great adventures. He did great things, and he helped establish, the New Republic, and he helped to do all these cool things. So all those things are still there. It's just that he had this moment where he lost. He lost it all. Yeah, and whatever moment of weakness, what have you, and then. But it was a big one, and it came in deception with Snoke and all that stuff. But I feel like he still had a bunch of accomplishments. Yeah, he still is Master Skywalker. Yeah, and
I get it. And what they were, I'm sure, getting at was they wanted more flashbacks. They want to see him in the temple. I'm sure we'll probably see a little more of that. But to say that he didn't have that Master Skywalker moment, he's not pulling Star Destroyers out of the sky, but
Yeah.
he is doing something which we learn in Legacy of the Force.
Yeah.
That's a Legends master move.
Yes, it is.
They took it directly
Actually,
from it as him as a master.
Force projection, yeah.
Yeah, so don't tell me that wasn't a moment to where
Yeah.
he just exuded,
Yeah.
ultimate like Jedi power, because he did, and
Well,
it killed him.
Yeah, and it killed him. It was one of the things that was kind of neat when I was reading Legacy of the Force is that like they're all pushing for Jason Solo to become a master.
Yeah.
Right? And then Luke does these things that only a master could do.
It's
And so it's sort of the same type of thing. So he force projects onto his ship, the Anakin Solo, and Jason is baffled.
yeah,
He turns to what he's having this battle of words, and then turns, and Luke is literally gone.
Yeah.
They look at they're looking for heat signatures and things, and gone.
yeah,
How did he do it?
Yeah.
And I said to myself, force projection.
yes,
That's
because
exactly what it was. And I was sitting here like, that's because I had forgotten. I mean, it's actually kind of a small, little, tiny, minute part of the series, but I was like, wait a second, what just happened?
yeah, because
So
what I'm picturing, what folks that are hoping for those big, masterful moments, is the snippet from the Old Republic game where it was, what was that, the battle
wasn't it
battle on Coruscant,
okay?
where they come in the Star Destroyer or whatever. No,
That was Darth Malgus.
That was Malgus.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the kind of power they want to see.
Were they? Yep. Mm-hmm.
But how boring would that be?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know. This is actually it was a different type of
it's clever. It's
of like a telekinetic type of
Yeah.
power.
yeah.
That is different. You can influence around the the
Yeah.
galaxy and things. And so, what's interesting is the dark side, even in the Legacy of the Force. I think it's Lumaya does like someone there is doing Force phantoms.
Mhm.
So same type of thing. It's kind of like a phantom presence that is actually fighting. And I
Yeah.
think it's actually even lightsaber on lightsaber. Maybe they weren't touching lightsabers. I can't remember.
Mhm.
But anyways, it was still pretty kind of it was interesting. And it was cool. It was neat. But I don't know, man. I here's the one thing that I'll say that I get where people were upset with how Luke was handled, and the idea that like in Legends he is the Grand Master.
Yeah.
And he is literally the Grand Master. I
Yeah.
mean, so you see him at the head of some pretty big deal Jedi Knights.
Yeah.
And it feels like in this, at least for me anyways, that like he started this academy. And, I'm just wondering how long was that academy going? And we just don't know enough because like I feel like he started the academy, and then as Han says, one of the boys turned against him and destroyed it all.
Mhm.
And it's like, were there other did people graduate from that academy?
Yeah.
Were there other masters
Just
who
the
graduated?
first semester and things just went to crap.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
how many years? Were they going with this, and how much did he accomplish?
Mhm.
Did Ben just turn some of his top students? Were there other people out there?
Mhm.
This is why I am kind of begging for Episode 9 to reveal, like a Kip Duran, Kyle Katarn,
Yeah.
some of those players. Like I'm really hopeful that one of them will be referenced or something. They'll come across to
Mhm.
someone like that. I don't think they're going to do it though, but
Probably
wouldn't.
not.
It would be really cool if they found a subtle way
Yeah.
to kind of do it. That there were others who were taught, and
That'd be cool.
and maybe that when Master Skywalker is this old, maybe he had done more, because before he establishes his academy, well, even as he's sort of learning to pass on what he's learned in Legends, he meets some of those other masters
Mhm.
at his time, and so he passes on. They've already had a full life; they're adults, when he's teaching them, the ways of the Force,
Mhm.
and so it's sort of like there could be people his age, but that weren't a part of that academy
Mhm.
that Han is talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if I can separate the two of those and possibly have other Force-sensitive people. We know there are Force-sensitive people all across the galaxy. But,
Well, and I mean, Luke's maybe state of mind about the Jedi and what should have been and what shouldn't have been could be different in canon now from what it was in Legends. Maybe he didn't think he needed to immediately start one. It was more important to go out and find some answers to some things that he needed to, and that was the most important thing at the moment, because just creating a bunch of Jedi didn't save the Republic before.
Yeah,
So he needed to do it in a more And they have issues again in
Mm-hmm.
in Legends material with
That's
the
true.
New Republic. So
That's
it's
true.
he needed to maybe be a little more methodical this time and
Right.
slow it down. But it would be cool though if he had some people that Ray and them could learn from, but that might take away from Ray's story
even
too.
to kind of tell his story more too.
Yeah.
Because we were right on the cusp of talking about how he is a legend.
Yeah.
And that the legend of Master Skywalker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like even Rey has heard the Jedi are real.
Yeah.
Type of thing, and she's just heard about this, right?
Well, and that's the thing I was going to say. Like, he has that legend status because she's heard of him.
Right.
Almost to a point where she's like, it's even real? It's so legendary.
Right.
But then that moment where he stood against the entire army himself, remember those kids playing with the toys?
Yeah.
Now he's a solidified legend.
Yes.
And it's spreading in through the galaxy.
Yeah.
So it's going to be cool to see in 9 what the effect that has.
Yeah.
Recruits maybe that come in, those Force-sensitive people that maybe at one time were a little too scared to come into play. Maybe could.
What if?
Yeah.
What if all of a sudden the legend spreads, and those folks we were just hoping that he had trained before come seeking after Luke's last student.
Yeah.
The last one that he was able to kind of teach a couple lessons to, and is still working with maybe in the Force.
Well, and then my other question is, if he's actually gonna be in Episode 9, Mark Hamill, and not just do flashbacks, let's say, is that gonna take away from the legend status if he shows up as a Force ghost? And because I was thinking, like, the Resistance is in desperation right now.
Yeah.
At any point, like in time, like right now, they need Luke Skywalker through the Force to help them out. Like, kind of the moments that we talked about that were never put in the original trilogy, where Yoda, visits Luke on.
Yeah, and Carnal. You mean when he's in desperate need against the Empire.
Yeah.
Or the Emperor,
Yeah, like he was going to intervene.
Yeah.
He said I could intervene or whatever. Like, is that going to take away from the legend? Is he actually going to be there, or are they just going to show flashbacks?
I think they might show a flashback, but I think what will happen is his influence and his teachings to Rey will be epic. I mean, they got to give him some good one-liners, some good teaching material, and then he'll need to do an epic reveal. He'll be the one maybe to do the epic reveal, and I think he'll also need to send Rey somewhere.
Yeah.
She will have been communicating with him, just like Obi-Wan sent Luke to Dagobah. It doesn't have to happen in the same way. It could still happen in this film. Even she's way further along than Luke was.
Yeah.
In his training and when he went to seek someone else. So maybe even if it's not to like learn or to be a student there, maybe it's to send her to a planet where she can get her another Kyber crystal.
Yeah.
And face some trial and create a lightsaber or something, or we see her start the movie that way or something. I don't know.
Do you think becoming one with the Force now, do you think he's going to gain the knowledge of Rey and where she comes from?
Absolutely.
And deliver that news to her?
He could.
That'd be a cool moment.
That would be cool. That would be
gives
crazy.
her the direction to find out herself.
Yeah.
She needs to go somewhere, like you said, and finding maybe the crystal is her test. And I don't know, man. I want to see Mark Hamill a lot, but thinking of him as that legend and people believing in it, like I kind of like that. And that
Me too.
She is his apprentice. And
yes,
and
she's his legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is huge.
Yeah.
Wow. Thinking about it in that terms, makes it cool. Yeah, just to see the influences or to hear people still telling the stories about what happened. Is it true that Master Skywalker, stood in front of the entire First Order and fought.
Well, maybe so. She thought he was a myth. Rey did, right? She says, "I thought he was a myth."
Yeah.
Was she just talking about the events that occurred from 4 through 6?
Maybe.
Or is she talking about things that happened after?
I think there has to be more. I think it's I don't know. It's that's going to be probably the biggest thing. That's Luke Skywalker's big accomplishment.
Yeah.
Never take away from that. That's his big victory. Beat the Emperor, saved his father, all that good stuff. But there were other. I'm sure. Maybe she didn't hear about those accomplishments. The one she might have heard about might have been Episode 6.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, in my own head and heart, he has done many great things.
Yeah.
And maybe I think the New Republic is set up, and he's done his hero thing, and he's now maybe worked with a couple characters like a Kip or like a Kyle, or a Corran Horn, and he's now gone and retired, and he is now in the teaching position, because he was this Jedi Knight who was doing what he had to do for the galaxy, and then becomes a master by teaching others, and then sets up his academy later on. So, you know what I'm saying?
Why couldn't he? Because he assists some, was it a defective Imperial or First Order guy in Battlefront 2?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Why couldn't he have someone he's training with or show some ropes? And yeah, because we really don't know what he was doing other than collecting artifacts.
Right, exactly.
Is he doing it all by himself?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is he sending people out?
Yeah, he had help. I know he did.
In his back pocket?
I know there's something that's some big reveal that's gonna happen. Now, okay, you ready for some?
Come on.
Okay, so we were just warming up.
We were just warming up.
That was just a warm up, friends.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Lando.
Oh,
Lando Calrissian.
Yeah, because he's gonna be in this movie.
Yeah. What do you think?
It's gonna be minimal. Not to just bring that down, but
okay.
Well, I mean, no, it could. I don't know. There's rumors out there right now about Lando got the Luke's lightsaber and gave it to Maz and all this stuff right now, and I don't know, man. I just Billy D isn't in the best health right now. He doesn't get around well, so maybe he's flying the Falcon in its last run.
He's not doing. I don't think he's doing anything. Physical.
No. Just maybe sharing some knowledge, making some jokes.
Secrets.
You think secrets, huh?
Big time. I think he knows.
Interesting.
I think if we asked the question, who left Rey on Jakku?
You think holy cow.
I think he might have.
Knows how to fly the Falcon?
I think he might have. No.
Wow.
I really think he might have.
Because
I went back and looked at Aftermath, and I was trying to think of where, he was during that time in the book series. And I think he's free to be somebody who, like, years later, I'm trying to figure out where the Falcon ended up. When even in Bloodlines, I was trying to track down does Han and Chewie have the Falcon? At what point do they have it? Do they not have it? Because how old is Rey in Bloodlines? So that's all stuff to kind of track down to think about.
Dang.
You know what I'm saying?
You think he's gonna have that big of a role, huh?
No, I think he's
like a reveal,
or a big reveal.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any other reason. The other thing that I think is going to happen is that, like, if you need someone who's well connected to sort of build the resistance, Lando, I mean, he's Gold Leader, he's someone who, I mean, he's one of the most famous, people in the galaxy as well. He's one of those people, so he is going to be a resource, and he can delegate, he can do whatever. And I think they're going to go back to Cloud City and find him.
Yeah,
still there.
Maybe the last promise he made to Han was to take the Falcon and put Rey in it and drop her off.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know, but I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts if you had
the only thing I thought is maybe he makes the ultimate sacrifice with the Falcon, and that's just kind of it's it. I don't know.
Think the Falcon's gonna be gone?
I do.
Really?
I think it's gotta yeah.
Nah.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm.
One last battle.
It's got a few more in it.
Just flies it through Star Destroyer.
It's as long as Rey is around.
That's true. That's true.
The Falcon will be around, I think.
Is it her ship then, or is it Billy? Is it Lando's when he shows up?
I don't know. Yeah,
maybe it's a joke. He's just like, I'm taking back my ship.
Taking back my ship. Yeah.
Han's not around. It's mine now.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good Billy D impression.
That was.
Thank you. Thank you. What do you think that secret is? Have you gotten that far in your thoughts, or?
Let's see. So the secret that I think if he was the one who dropped Rey off on Jakku, then he clearly knows the secret. He knows
that's true.
Who her parents are. He knows how she's connected. He knows the story. He knows he can fill in all of that.
Yeah.
And it may be that Master Skywalker through Force Ghost sends her to Lando.
And she's really Kira's daughter, and Lando knows that.
I don't know. Maybe granddaughter or something. Yeah,
People
exactly.
thought, Solo wouldn't be that important. Well,
yeah,
joke's on them.
Little do they know. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I don't know I haven't gotten as far as to what the secret maybe would be. it could even be more about. It could be something Han and Leia had going on that Luke didn't know about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, all things that I'm not quite sure on yet. But I feel like if somebody, I don't know, man, was in the know on this, I don't know. It feels like Leia doesn't know, but maybe Han did, and Lando did, and maybe they did something that's outside of the Force. Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got all these we talk about the Force and Luke and Leia and all this kind of stuff. How interesting to see these non-Force users play a big role.
Yeah.
And that they foresaw and their own without the abilities of the Force.
Yeah.
Just like you and I can sort of like, I see trouble there. I think that's going to be trouble.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go this way to avoid it.
Yeah.
Maybe they made some decisions together that stowed Rey where she was.
I think it's definitely plausible.
And maybe Han didn't know where that was going to take place or where Lando was going to deposit said package. So
that's true, because maybe he'd kind of given up on, helping out the Resistance, and Billy D had to do it.
I don't know, man. So, anyways, that's the Billy D side of things. Now,
kind of forgot he was actually going to be in the movie. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah, I think it's actually pretty. It's going to add some cool stuff to it, really. Quite frankly, even if it's just a quick conversation or something, even if he can tell a story about Luke and things that he did and what he was doing.
Yeah.
You know, even if he himself doesn't quite understand it and he's really kind of dismissive about it in the way that Lando talks about things, but we're like, Lando, you're onto something. That's a huge deal. Like, man, oh my gosh, you know, it's that dramatic irony where we're like, we know more maybe than the implications of what Lando's saying. We're like, what?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It could be something like that. Maybe it's a secret that he has that he doesn't even really realize is that big of a deal, but to the audience, it's going to be huge.
Well, if he has a secret, I can only imagine that Nine Numb has a secret, because I feel like they probably were hanging out.
Yeah, they were.
After the battle for Endor a lot, and the destruction of the second Death Star. I'm pretty sure that he probably knows a secret too. Maybe he's Rey's father. I don't know.
Maybe he is.
That was my Nine Numb impression.
That was good.
So you mentioned this earlier, that the Kylo Ren discussion that we could possibly be having based off this article.
Yeah.
It's not much to go off of.
Okay.
But Adam Driver did sit down, I think it's Vulture magazine, and they didn't ask him much about Star Wars, but they asked him a little bit about how he feels about Kylo Ren. They actually said, what's interesting to you about playing Kylo Ren? And he said, and this is what everyone's kind of picking apart here, is he says, that's hard to say because we're working towards something in particular with that character. I don't want to give anything away.
Yeah.
What is that thing they're working towards?
Well, it's got to be more than just a straight turn to the dark side.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because that's why immediately when I read this, I was like, wow. So my thought that he's just going to go full dark, it's not that simple.
Yeah.
Why would he say, they're working towards something?
Okay. Oh, boy, I don't know.
Redemption is the first thing that comes to my mind.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and I said earlier that we're going to bring back theories that people had. We had read something way back in the day. We were looking at episode 7, maybe going into 8. I can't remember the idea. And actually, I can't remember. One of my friends might have mentioned this, might have brought this to me. But the idea that Kylo Ren, that Ben Solo, is actually fully like double agenting us. Like he's doing something that he knows. Like he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's in complete control of himself.
Yeah.
And that maybe Luke misinterpreted what he read in Ben. And maybe he was seeing things that were dark, and he knew it is sort of a Jason Solo does have this he sees death and destruction and feels like becoming a Sith Lord is a way in which to serve. He keeps calling it a service that he's doing, and he it's the only way that he could. So he saw good, like he wanted to use that power for good. Oh my gosh, Zek. Here's a character for you. So Jaina Solo is in a bit of a pickle when they're on Lumaya's like cluster in the Legacy of the Force, and it's surrounded by the dark side energy there, and he actually draws on the dark side. Zek, this character who loves Jaina, and he goes dark side just because he believed he had the will to come back.
Yeah.
He knew he felt like he could fight it and he could come back, and so he uses that to his advantage in the moment because he needed to.
Yeah.
But then he thought, I can come back, and then he slowly starts to slip, and he's like, I'm not. The dark side did start to consume him, and it took a lot of Jedi to kind of bring him back. So you can see there are times maybe when one might. So maybe it's misguided. Maybe he thought that he needed to go join the dark side to unravel some plot that his uncle wasn't seeing. Things that they weren't seeing, things that were sent to him in the Force that he needed to go address, and he's been, that's extreme.
It is, and I think
pretty wild theory, but I've heard it.
But most of the theories, I think, when they're talking about that, they're talking about him being literally like an agent for the Resistance, more so than just being like Ben Solo has this idea of what is right and what needs to be done, and he's doing whatever necessary to achieve that end.
Yeah,
and that's using Snoke. I mean, we saw him manipulate him there in the end and defeat him, using him to get what he needed.
Yeah.
Whether he actually believes what the First Order is doing is right, he's using that entity to get to what he needs. And it's not necessarily ensuring that the First Order survives and thrives and is the ultimate power. And it's obviously not that at least in my opinion, not that the Resistance is the right way either. It's almost like he's out for himself, which seems to be every Sith's, ultimate goal is to fulfill something for themselves and achieve ultimate power. But maybe there's something else that we don't quite understand yet, that he is doing something for himself, and he's kind of playing everyone, and no one, his parents never understood why. Snoke has no idea what it is he's doing, so maybe that's it, and it's not necessarily that he's reporting back to, the Resistance. That seems a little far-fetched to me, but I can see him, especially, because if that would have been the case, I feel like after he defeated Snoke, he'd have been like, sweet, well, did what I was here for, shut all this stuff down, but he didn't. He tried to convince Rey to join him and dismiss everything, and that he knows what's right. Yeah. So it's definitely for himself. He has an idea of what he thinks is right. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, let me bring up and the reason I think you can draw a connection here to a character in Legends, and that's Lord Scourge, who actually is the right. He actually betrays Revan. He befriends him. He saw all the dark side, or whoever the Force, the light side, whatever, gives him a vision when they're facing down the Sith Emperor. Yeah. And he sees all of these possibilities that could happen. And there were very few in which Revan kind of prevailed. Yeah. But the ones in which that they actually ended up destroying the Emperor was where Lord Scourge is standing behind him and in support of him. Yeah. And it was actually the hero, it's the game series, right? That Revan prophesies, will come. So the hero of Tython or something like that, who shows up, and this you is the character in the game, and you show up later and you end up defeating the Emperor, and Lord Scourge is there to kind of help you. Yeah. In the end, and he says that he'll live with, he gets the immortality bit, and he ends up being there. He's waiting. He's biding his time. He'll do all of these evil deeds until that prophesied hero shows up. Yeah, because that's the time when he'll strike, and he has to suffer. His suffering is great because he has to endure all of this evil. Even though, he's an evil guy, but
Oh yeah, but
still,
So is Kylo. I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
Even Revan went down a dark path, but he ended up, redemption in the end. Yeah. Won the Republic over again, and he was a hero. Yeah. But Scourge is definitely playing it and waiting for that moment that he thinks is whatever.
Right, exactly. And it's a little different just because, the Emperor is trying to destroy life in the entire galaxy, and it's pretty big deal, and so he's still in it for his own gain, but it's his own life and the life of the galaxy, and so
Yeah.
You know, and he did what only a Sith could do in that moment with Revan there. Yeah. The Jedi wouldn't have acted the way that he acted, and because of that, he was able to stay close to the Emperor there. So.
The only thing that I don't like about the theory is that it takes away, for me, kind of the human aspects that we see with Ben Solo and what he's going through.
Yeah, I know.
You know, it's too manipulative. It's too much power for what we see him in all of these moments. That would be the ultimate deception.
Well, because you'd have to almost believe that his power is not really in all of his Force abilities, but it's in his acting.
Yeah.
Ben, the character, being a good actor, not Adam Driver. It's sort of like that I don't really necessarily like, you know.
No,
so.
it's just I like that he's flawed. I like that he's I don't know. He's
struggling.
Fits.
You always say that you like that he goes, I feel it again.
Yeah. The pull to the light.
The pull to the light.
Yeah, like
you know,
I love that.
Yeah, it's a great struggle to have, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what? If that's what they're going for, and they're working towards this, something is redemption. Yeah. I mean, the writing's been on the wall then the whole time, and it's just his struggle more so than we got to see with Vader. And I don't know, in the comics and everything we're seeing with Vader during his time, he had struggles, but we did not see those in the film. We saw it was a very quick turn there at the end. This is my son, he's being tortured. You were right. Like, little unrealistic for all the bad deeds he'd done, but I like the struggle, and if it's redemption, I'll be happy. It just, I don't know, it seems too easy. I have
a question for you. Speaking of how quick things happen, when Luke ignites in that moment of weakness his lightsaber, and then Ben sees it, and he tries to, say, no, Ben, and then Ben just freaks out, right?
Yeah.
And is scared and what have you. He's still right in that moment on the light side. You know, he's just, even though he's seeing darkness in his heart and he's seeing all these different things, and he's seeing, maybe what he was seeing was Snoke, you know what I'm saying? And he wasn't really seeing Ben.
Yeah.
So there's Master Skywalker being deceived a little bit, but I almost wonder, when Luke comes to and he's there with R2 and he's looking out at his temple burning, I don't think that Ben Solo would have gone back in there and just killed all of those people just because...
It doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. He went in there and just went on the dark side. He's not angry with them, is he? Is he? I mean, it's more Master Skywalker.
Yeah.
And then he wants to take them with him. Maybe he goes in and tells people what's happening. And maybe there was a fight and they said, like, no, you're wrong. Master Skywalker would never do that. And he fights them and kills them. Maybe that is what happened.
It could have. We also don't know.
That's a quick, like you said, a quick turn.
Yeah, it could have been
Even though
Snoke.
it had been boiling underneath for a long time.
Yeah, Luke was knocked out. He doesn't know who burned down the temple.
Yeah.
So he came to it and he's like, he must have thought I was dead. I mean,
yeah,
one man is not going to bring down that whole temple. It looked like a pretty big establishment, and
so
there's other Jedi in there, right?
Yeah,
but like we also don't know what Luke saw. He said, "I'd read his mind. He was far gone."
Yeah,
we don't know what he'd seen. Could have been torture. Could have been things Snoke put in his mind.
Yeah,
but like could have been Snoke who helped him tear down the. Snoke was close.
Yeah,
Snoke was in the area.
Yeah,
manipulating Ben.
Right,
and they knew it.
Yeah.
Because they knew Snoke.
But see, there's got to be, and maybe there doesn't have to be, but you feel like they're working for some big I am your father moment.
Yeah.
And if they are, I was kind of thinking that what he's talking about, maybe some of the subtleties are, look at when he's talking to Rey. He's very, very, very cloaked every time he's talking to her. I see it. I see the island.
Yep.
And then he's seeing things there, and then when he's talking to her, he's asking about, did he tell you why? And then he almost he never really answers her questions, and he never really quite gives his full opinion. He's just sort of checking.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, and he was like, he just. Oh, how did he put that in some of those?
It's very dismissive. He's in the novelization.
He's just sort of
they say that he talks to her as if he's not even listening to what she's saying.
Yeah.
She'll ask him something. Why did you do it? And he's is asking a different question. Like he's just, it's like he doesn't.
He knows that she hasn't been told the truth.
Exactly. And
and that Luke hasn't told her about that moment of weakness. And maybe there's more to it than that.
Yeah, he really believes that what he's doing is not, it's because of what's happened to him.
Well, from his point of view,
Yeah.
his uncle tried to ignite his lightsaber.
Yeah.
And was going to kill him.
Yeah.
Possibly from his point of view. So it's just a survival thing now.
And we don't know what Snoke told him.
No.
We don't know how he manipulated him.
Yeah.
I mean, enough to, get him to serve him. But, I mean, obviously, Kylo didn't fully trust Snoke either.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like he does, in The Force Awakens. But, I don't know. Those dark side apprentices are always, mistrusting of their masters. And so maybe he truly is a Sith then. But I don't know. It's an interesting statement of saying that they're moving towards something.
Yeah.
We're trapped in this box of either he's going to become the supervillain or it's redemption. And it's either of those. It could be something completely different.
Yeah, it could be.
I don't know what that would be. Because those two movies were so different.
So different.
Great in their own ways, but so different.
And they have an overarching connect. Like, they've been told the overarching
I hope
goals. You would think.
Or did they have them?
Or otherwise, what are they working towards?
But that's the thing. So why?
And so that is completely silly. If that didn't take place and we find out later that didn't happen, that's a huge oversight. That's ridiculous.
And that's why so many people have issues with the movie.
Because they don't see, it doesn't seem like they did that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they have different directors writing different stories with their own opinions, when in reality the story, the outline of what should happen should occur, and what goes and happens in between is for interpretation of the director or the writer. But that's why it's so difficult to kind of, I mean, it makes it great. I don't exactly want to know what's going to happen.
They did that with some of the series. You had, I keep referring to the Legacy, you had several different writers, write that series, but they had powwows where they knew the arc.
Yeah.
They knew the story arcs, and they knew where they were going, and they kind of worked on that. And then the devices and the cleverness and the weaving of characters and story and how you got there and how you moved the reader through the story was up to the author.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm hoping that's what they were doing, but if not, then you're like, well, holy smokes,
The one thing that tells me that they didn't is I look at the scenes of, Rey's vision with him in his mask.
Yeah.
And it looks like him and the Knights of Ren killed all these people. It looks like the temple in the background.
Yeah.
It's raining, though, in that scene. So what is that? Assuming it's the temple being destroyed and all those people killed. But then in 8, we see what goes down. Is it raining? I don't recall it raining.
Well, and then again, the question is, did that turn happen that fast? Wasn't that Ben without a mask?
Yeah.
Wouldn't he have
had
been
a red
there?
Lightsaber.
Right.
He had a green, or he had a blue one.
And the visions can be kind of, whatever, but still, you look at director to director. The thing that gets me and where I sometimes buy into the fact that maybe they didn't have this as outlined and story arced as well as I thought they did, was the idea that The Last Jedi so the Force Awakens seems like it covers, even though it doesn't cover a whole lot of ground.
Oh yeah,
it seems like it gets us around further and so on.
Yeah,
and then this well, how do I put this? Because you had the events that happen in A New Hope. Luke is just boom thrust onto the scene.
Yeah.
Is piloting, is doing all this stuff. It's crazy. It's boom. Let's go. And he helps win one of this great victory. He gets involved in the midst of this huge conflict. Then a year or so goes by, and more things have happened, and he's risen up in the ranks.
Yep. And
then boom, here we are. And then the same thing happens between the other movie. So this will have to be the movie where they'll have to show some. If they pick up right again, well then cool. I guess so. Rey's been holding a lightsaber for less than a year.
No way.
You know what I'm saying?
No way. They have to.
That's where I think they didn't move things along fast enough, or they maybe need to do a 2-parter for episode 9.
I think that's the way you make up for.
Wouldn't it be a shock? I'm telling you, man. the more I think about it, it's almost like the way you'd have to kind of rectify it.
And not to say that the story itself was terrible. It's just the continuation just for me wasn't there, and a lot of that has to do with it picking up right after 8 or 7, like you said. And
why couldn't they have found Master Skywalker? The problem is, I guess the problem is that it sounds like JJ had to put that scene in of Luke Skywalker on the cliff. Yeah. If that wasn't in there, you could have actually pushed it.
Yeah,
further. You know what I'm saying? Rey could have done a few more things with the Resistance, and they're prepping. Maybe they got delayed. They couldn't get to Master Skywalker, but they're trying to.
Yeah,
and they got to relocate a few more times.
Yeah,
and she grows a little bit, stronger, and she grows. Yeah. It gets a connection with these people.
Yeah,
but she's really seen them for less than however many days. I don't know how long she was there with Finn. While he's getting, and then boom, off she goes.
Well, we talked about.
Well, and actually, that's all in The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we talked about. We thought what was going to happen. I mean, she trained with Luke a little bit. We thought that was going to happen.
Yeah.
With how it left off, but we thought that was going to take place over some time.
Right. That we were going to come back to it, and that it was like, oh, they've been training.
They've been training, and we thought even Kylo and them would invade. Yeah. And they would be pretty well established at that point, and that could have been the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
on Octu.
Right,
but it just so little happened, and a third of a trilogy.
I know.
Kylo developed some, but Star Wars depended on that time for those characters to mature.
I know.
In their roles, and that's going to be now. It's going to be quite a step to say, okay, Rey has established herself as this, the resist. But then, you know what? Spoiler alert for anyone, who hasn't been looking at the leaks or anything like that. And we haven't. Well, okay, we have. Not a ton, but there some of those images out there right now of what the Resistance looks like. It looks very primitive.
Yeah.
And so that could very well be right off they get off the Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who knows?
Yeah, I know, man. I hope not.
What's happened since then? They're into hiding.
Literally, then this story just I don't know. It's so fast. It's tough.
Or maybe they're more established, and those scenes are just them taking a more primitive approach to destroy whatever menace it is that they're going after.
Yeah,
I don't know, but it seems like it could just. I don't know. Like I said, Star Wars has benefited off breaks in time and. Characters have matured, and you understand that Leia is now, a general pretty much in Episode 5. Mm-hmm. Immediately, she has authority over this, rebellion.
Yep.
Even Han he's
risen in rank.
Mm-hmm. And like Luke said, and he's even developed some of his skills. You see him wielding the lightsaber, knocking the AT-AT.
Right, he force grabs his lightsaber without any.
Exactly.
I mean.
They've been perfecting, their respective roles and
honing their skills.
Just didn't get that.
I know. That is the one thing I love the story. Mm-hmm. I just wish in my head I could believe more, push me a little further away. Mm-hmm. If you wouldn't have put that scene there, it's fine. I think they wanted some huge cliffhanger, get us all speculating. It was cool. It raised a lot of drama and tension, but you might as well have called that Episode 7 Part 2.
Exactly.
I mean, that's
probably what it should have been.
That's probably what it should have been.
And then I would if they had separated those films, with some time, I would then believe Kylo defeating Snoke so single-handedly, like manipulate him like that. I would believe with a little more time. He just got whooped by Rey.
Yeah, he did.
And then all of a sudden he's a master manipulator. That's why I thought, okay, wow, he is insanely powerful.
Yeah.
Or, Rey is growing and so quickly, and Luke, is with her now, and then that just kind of the Force just kind of builds him up some.
I'll give Kylo a pass in that I think he has a weakness for Rey. I think he does. Whether it's a relationship, whether it's a sibling thing, or familial, or if it's romantic, whatever. Yeah. He's got some type of weakness for her. He's intrigued, and it's something that's really stuck with him. Everyone has seen that's something's going on there. Mm-hmm. He's been obsessed with her since the beginning, which is fine. Mm-hmm. I kind of hope the only thing that what would really kind of end up making this is if it does turn out to be some crazy, redemption. Thing where she has that would be so how she could step back on. And I know people are like, well, why does it have to be like that? It's like, well, it doesn't have to be, but like, there's nothing wrong with it being that way. You know, if she's only going to be around, or she's going to have this quick of an impact, you know, in this galaxy and in these events, and we're not going to do years in between the films, you know, years, right? You know, where the characters grow, as we've been talking about. Then maybe it is she just has this powerful love at first sight type of thing, or she's, you know, the force connection that they have, some bond that's there, that's really kind of pulling and nagging on him, because it's still, even though she shuts the door at the end of you know, it seems like it's a severing.
Seems definitive.
It seems that way, but I still think it's there.
Yeah.
Yep, I do.
Well, so do we still think that Episode 9 is going to be a huge battle movie, like good versus evil, like side versus side?
I just don't know, man.
To do that, I feel like there has to be time in between the movies.
Well, what they need to do is they need to pace it about like they did Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Because I thought that was, I mean, I know people are like, oh, the beginnings, whatever. There's still a lot of character building there. There's Luke going on a mission on his own, so Rey needs that as well. Yeah. She goes and does something, improves herself, I mean, even though she's been doing all of that. But to see her again, and Finn, maybe in Poe, maybe they're all working together on something, and they accomplish some task against some minor boss. Yeah. And then we go into, we split up, you know, and then Rey goes and seeks some counsel somewhere, like Luke did with Dagobah. You get the reveal. Wow, here's the moment. My friends who I just left are in danger now again, which is a harken to Episode 5. Yeah. And then she's got to, you know, go tell them what she knows, you know, because she's force sensitive. Maybe the Master Skywalker can't appear to them or something. I don't know. Yeah. But then has to go share these secrets, or has to go take that knowledge and use it to win back Kylo, or to help him see whatever, you know. I mean, it's something like that. And don't be surprised, by the way, if Master Skywalker actually we believe he's going to be training and speaking to Rey, but I believe there's someone else he's going to be speaking to as well. Ben Solo. Yeah.
He said he'd, you know, see you around.
See you around. Yeah.
I agree.
And I think he'll be someone who's still trying to, you know, kind of just be there, you know, let him know. Just where, you know what I'm saying? I think he could still.
He could. He compared it. He said, I'll be there just like your father. So whether he actually is present, or if it's just, you know, we know in the back of his mind, he's always going to know that, hey, you know, I killed my father, and I helped kill my uncle. Yeah. I'm a part of you. We are a part of you. Exactly.
Type of thing.
Always
but
will be.
I kind of think he's going to help him in some way.
Yeah.
You know?
That could, I mean, that could be what he's talking about. What we're working towards is you're not really seeing it, but Luke hasn't actually given up on him.
Yeah.
Luke hasn't given up on the rebellion, and he hasn't given up on his family, even though it seems like he has.
Yeah.
He sent himself to die
for them.
To save Ben Solo from destroying the Resistance.
Yeah.
Because Ben could have went in there and destroyed all of them.
Yeah.
You know, like he's helping him too. He's saving him by not allowing him to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there could have been, I mean, maybe Luke could have intervened even more, and he could have struck down Ben in that moment.
Maybe.
We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. He
probably could have ended him there.
Yeah. Now, let me bring up something that is different. So, again,
come on.
We had our first warm-up. We had the second one. We were getting a little closer.
Yep.
Moving up to the fire. All right.
It's getting warm.
In Legacy of the Force, which I've been obsessed with recently. Oh, Master Skywalker is working against Jason Solo. And we were talking about this earlier, Mike and I were. The idea that he is using... He's making moves. Master Skywalker is doing things that you're kind of like, they don't sit right with some of the Jedi and some of his family. You know, he actually foresees his son getting captured, you know, and being in the hands of the enemy, and allows it to happen because he himself is using the Force to manipulate Jason, and he is using, he is actually feeding him Force visions, you know, and allowing him to see these different things. So there's all of that other power, that other side of like like with the visions, what we're seeing. You know, there's a story that could be woven there with that, and so it was just kind of nice to see that side of one, Master Skywalker, and then two, to see another way in which you could manipulate someone or you could influence, you know, the events. So even Luke beyond the grave, maybe as a Force ghost, what powers do they have?
Yeah.
Are there things that they could do to influence what they see and what they don't see, or something like that?
Yeah.
Which I thought was kind of neat. The ability of like, which is not, I can't believe I mentioned this word, but flow walking. That the idea of, we kind of talked about, you know, going back in time and seeing events and not, you know, being able to tamper with them, but you learn from them and you get to see different perspectives. So will we see some type of ability like that? And also,
Ezra did.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, you've got the gateway situation, you know?
Canon.
Yeah, canon. Absolutely canon. Yeah. Wow.
Ezra shows up, pulls Ben Solo out of that moment.
You know, yeah.
Wow. Talk about out of left field.
Out of left field. Ezra Bridger steps on the scene and just...
Who's this guy?
Who is this guy?
How did he come through
Defender
this portal?
of the Gateway.
He's
I
like
mean,
got a beard and everything now.
Yeah.
He's just some old man.
Master Ezra. Just, there he is.
Master Bridger just shows up out of nowhere.
Oh, my
But
gosh.
maybe Luke knows him. They're about, they're not that far in age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Maybe.
That's who he has been going out and collecting relics with.
Yeah, Ezra Bridger.
Yeah.
Be crazy cool.
That would be cool. Never going to happen, but
No.
maybe in our fan fiction.
No, yeah, for sure. But I'm just thinking of those ability things, in which ways in which Master Skywalker can kind of use that ability. And I was also thinking Jason Solo has powers that they always say like that no other Jedi discovered, and you know, all these different things that he knew and could learn, and some he passed on, some he didn't pass on. You know, and it's sort of like, what is it that Ben was maybe learning? Did he, was the Force giving him increased powers? Will we see things that we've never seen before? You know, will Rey do that as well? Are both of these powers kind of like, you know, taking us to a new place in the I kind of feel like when there's less Jedi and Sith, they have more power.
Yeah.
That the Force fuels them with more. They can do more things because there are fewer in numbers, so you put more power behind that one person. Kind of like Luke against the Empire. You know, it's sort of like it's guiding him and it's destiny, it's fate. It's but it's also a combination of like his will, you know, to kind of persevere through all of these difficulties and these situations.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
And they need time, I think, in between the movies so
Yeah,
it's
they do.
a little more believable.
Yes, they do. Absolutely they do.
And that would have been cool if, we just maybe find out where Luke's been this whole time. Not necessarily send Rey to the island and see him standing on a cliff and have to address that. But be like, this is where he is. Movie ends. And then we go find him.
Yeah.
And then, time has passed and I just, those powers that he learned, was it from going out and searching for relics? Did he learn this kind of force projection, like from someone, from the books? It didn't seem like he learned it from the books. He's just like, I read them, but But he was protecting those texts, and he had the compass. He had those things with him. They meant something. Did he learn something from them? I don't know. I want to know more of it, but it's just they don't allow the time for it, man. They don't allow for the imagination, and that's what's cool about even the little things that they're doing now with the Forces of Destiny stuff. They're doing little snippets of stuff that happened in between 4, 5, and 6.
Right.
They could do that. We can't do that now.
There's really no time.
There's no
between this.
time.
Yeah.
It's
we really do know what happens between 7 and 8. Like it's,
absolutely.
There's a little sliver of time where they filled in some stuff with Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
And Iden Versio's daughter and different things, and they send her to the Outer Rim to seek allies, right?
Yeah.
So she's out there with Snaps and different folks, doing things.
And there is a weird. I mean, they talk they show Kylo too searching for Skywalker. I think, right? Like he's going around searching for. I'm pretty sure.
Oh,
because in the Force Awakens, that was kind of like what Ben Solo's job was. I think.
felt like that was before The Force Awakens, though. That was the first storyline.
Yeah. But he had the mask.
Absolutely.
He had all that. Like, that was kind of his job. It wasn't
yeah.
even so much like the First Order.
Yeah.
It's more of a personal thing.
Yeah, Snoke's trying to find him. Yep.
Yeah, so it's we see a little bit of that, but man, it's just not much development there.
Yeah.
But to know that there was that time where he's doing these things and to see Rey kind of own him, it's just so weird.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
I know. I don't know.
Really enjoy the films. Really enjoy them.
I know. We've kind of, this was the first time you and I have really given a hard critique, I think, to the films. And it's more just about that time. It's that one little thing. Everything that you do, almost everything that you do in episode 8, I'm fine with. Just separate the two a little bit. Yeah. Allow my imagination to run a little wild there, and let me think about what those characters could have done, and what have you. But when you pick up right away, there's just not a lot of room for growth. Finn doesn't get to. He's called a hero, but he's been in this coma, right? But like, I feel like he could have ranked up a little bit. All those people could have ranked up some. Yeah. And they just don't. Yeah. So that's our one major grievance there. But any other hopes and dreams though, for episode 9, things that we want to see. I mean, how do we fix it? I can't believe we just said that either.
Two-parter.
Two-parter's how you fix it, yeah.
Two-parter. Gotta be time separation.
Yep.
Gotta have, like I said, I want Luke's moments to be epic, but I really feel like that can take away from his legend. And those Rey, in my opinion, is going to have some huge moments for her to be at a Luke Skywalker status in this trilogy. She did some cool stuff in the beginning. I felt like her character was totally lacking in The Last Jedi. She has to be so present in almost every scene of this upcoming film. Yeah. In order for her, I adore her character. I think it's great. Yeah. But man, did it miss the mark in Last Jedi.
I hear you.
I didn't need Poe's storyline to develop this much.
Yeah.
He could have been an awesome pilot, and that's it. It's great that he's going to be leading the Resistance.
Look how little we get from like someone like Wedge. And Wedge is just anytime he's out there fighting, we're just like, he's great. Yeah, he's solid.
And then they give him backstory. Like look at all this. Look at all this. Backstory Poe's getting now. Yeah, he's got his own comic. Yeah. He's in Resistance.
I know.
Like, I don't.
Did we need to give him all that screen time?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I hear you.
And what you were talking about earlier with. In the original trilogies, those side things, when they went to Cloud City, when Luke went to Dagobah, when they had all their own things that they were doing, it was helping them develop as characters and had a purpose, and they learned from those moments, and they benefited the story. Yeah, that was a missed opportunity with Finn and Rose, and it was just. It didn't really add to the story much. I don't see how he's grown as a character. Yeah, like. Yeah, it's just those. It has to fall in line more with the original trilogy. Yeah, it just does.
Well, the other thing too is with that whole bit, and I've often said, you gotta have those moments where you wanted Finn to be a hero again. Yeah, it's all just defeat, which I get. Yeah. It's the theme. It was one of the themes that they're going with. This is not gonna go the way you think. And they said it in the start.
They did,
and they warned us.
They did,
and they were right.
So much in that moment when I was watching the movie for the first time. Yeah, I knew in that moment, the first time I watched it, that Finn's character had not really advanced much, and I was like, he needs to sacrifice himself here when he's flying into the weapon.
I know, me too.
Right in the moment, right? The first time
I
watched
it, we're like, changed things. I would have been like, wow. Yeah. Wow, that's it's time to wake up, people. Yeah.
Time to wake up. There's real sacrifices happening.
Yeah, and that's before Luke shows up.
Exactly. Like his character had developed so little. I was like, this is what it's been building towards.
Now, it was cool that we saw the willingness for him to do that.
Yeah. And
so that was neat.
I get that Rose, kind of cheesy, kind of, saving of him there. I get it.
That's how we're fighting for each other.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Yeah. Like that, their development was so lacking that That's what I was hoping was going to
Yeah,
happen.
Rose, can I tell you something?
Yeah, come on.
Let me tell you something, Rose. And I love the actress who plays her, by the way. And I actually enjoy the character Rose. I'm just kind of kidding and teasing here when I say it this, all right? But you know what, Rose? Why don't you go take that same line and say it to Jen Erso and Cassian Andor?
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Because listen here, I mean,
right.
you know, they weren't just sacrificing; they were sacrificing for a great cause.
That's right.
Were they not?
Did.
Were they not?
They did. They had nothing left.
Nothing, and they did it for the whole. That's what Rogue One. I mean, man,
I want to pop it in right
that's
now.
why it hits.
It did.
You know, because you're like, wow, it was that sacrifice that got those plans into R2. You know, to Leia, to R2, to Obi, to Luke, back to Leia. It's just
And we had that importance knowing the other films, and I get that we don't necessarily know where this is going yet.
Yeah.
It just doesn't even feel important. Her development doesn't feel necessary. Like you said, she's great. I think what I liked and appreciated most from her character was that, just like when you talk about World War II, it affected families.
yes, yeah,
Like families were destroyed from this. Like
yeah,
brothers lost brothers. Like mothers lost son. Like it affected a family, and that really hit home. I thought the opening sequence.
yes,
but
it did.
I mean, at times, at the first time I watched it, I don't even know if I made the full connection that was her sister.
Yeah,
It was just like, but like,
Takes you a second.
it made sense then at that point. But
the other thing I appreciate from Rose's character is the idea that she appreciates the cause, values it, and she also she's kind of the fan. We see her, we see ourselves in her a little bit because she sees a hero walk in front of her, and she's like, "Whoa,
yeah,
what are you doing down here? Why am I in the presence of this awesome hero for the Resistance?" And so that I like because you get to build Finn. That's how they built Finn.
Yeah,
right there. It was that one line. Is that like someone thinks he did all these great things, and he's been in a coma, and he's been helping out, freed Poe, all that kind of stuff, you know. And it's that legend building. It's that rumor mill kind of churning, and in a good way, you know.
Well, and I also appreciated that she, you know, had this kind of the working class mentality, like, you know, people's lives are being run over by the First Order, and they're being, you know, my family or my planet was just, we were tested on and all this. Like, that is awesome. Show me it.
Yeah.
Show me where she came from. Show me her family being destroyed. Do a flashback. The whole, you know, Canto Bight scene.
Yeah.
I get what they were going for, but man, did they miss the mark on it.
Yeah.
But she represents that kind of everyday person fighting the fight, and I like that. But like,
well, and I get also the legend too that he's trying to, you know, leave the symbol with the kids and the story and watch it spread, and that's cool. It comes full circle in that little scene there at the end. But the other thing I want to ask you is how do you then, you know, going forward in 9 with Rose, what do you do to fix? I mean, does she grow? Does she rank? Is she head engineer now? Has she become like the Scotty, you know, on the Enterprise? You know?
I honestly, I don't think she's gonna have much of a role, man.
I'm afraid that she's gonna. I mean, I like her, but I think she's gonna have a lot of a role. I think they're gonna give her a decent part in some way. Yeah, I don't know how, but I feel like they might do it.
That's the thing. I think when you start talking about building up, that's
There's too many characters.
There's so many characters, and that's what I'm saying.
Not everybody can be a main character.
Exactly. They missed the mark.
Who's the protagonist?
Exactly. Like right. Like they missed the mark with her character.
Yeah.
And they sacrificed Finn's character. You cannot sacrifice Rey's ultimate hero moment.
Yeah.
In this film to build up those characters anymore. You just can't.
Yeah.
Maybe Finn can be redeemed, but like I don't.
He can. Well, and here's the thing. Those are the two. I get kind of the idea is that they boom in episode 7, they clash, they come together, and then in 8 they're separated the whole time, and then they come back, and then we'll see what happens in 9. You know, as they've returned, and so that's what we got. John Boyega kind of saying, texting Daisy Ridley saying, "Hey, we're working together."
Yeah.
Just talk to JJ. Yeah. It's happening. You and me, we're back.
Yeah.
Because really, they didn't.
Yeah.
Did they? No scenes together until the very end.
Well, and I mean, the whole point of him doing everything he did was to
Rey.
find her, to protect her.
No.
And
Never forget it.
she's so focused on Kylo And what's going on with Luke? Like, the only time we really hear her say something is like to tell Chewie to send him a message. Yeah, that's perfect. Like,
yeah, I tell you, Finn may turn out to be
the villain.
No, he may he may turn out to be the best part of all of this. I mean, because we do lose, he flies under the radar a little bit for us.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like he is doing all of this because for Rey, and then Rey seems to kind of like get, absorbed in all of these heavy force battles. It's kind of that thing that I told you about in the start, where like Han and Lando can, the non-force users, what role do they play? Let's build them up. Like what's something that they can see that the force can't show Rey?
That had a huge part in the original trilogies.
Exactly. Yeah.
Luke was the only one really throwing the force around at all.
And they have good ideas. They have good thoughts. They have good skills and assets. So what is it that he can remind and ground Rey in? Connection to Legends again. So Jack and Fell, who ends up with Jaina Solo, like when she's losing her mind trying to become the Sword of the Jedi, and she's trying to like prep to fight her brother, he reminds her, of who she is. You're like he grounds her, he centers her, and brings her back to, you're a Jedi. You're not fighting like a Jedi right now.
Yeah.
And then even the idea that she needs to think outside of the box, and she gets trained by Boba Fett. But still he had to kind of remind her of who she was.
Yeah.
And maybe Finn will be that for Rey.
Then
he has to remind her of.
She gets this hero complex. Maybe not in a hero complex, but thinks that like all these powers I have, this is what.
Or thinks she has to do it on her own, or thinks she has to, all these different things. You think about the different things heroes have to kind of go through and endure, and sometimes it's like through friendship.
Yeah.
You need a friend. You need someone to lean on. It's okay.
Well, without Carrie Fisher either, like think about the end of the movie when they're in the Falcon flying away, and she's like, "Luke's gone. Like, what are we gonna do?"
Yeah.
And Carrie says, "We have everything we need."
Yep.
She's not. I mean, we know she's gonna be in there somehow.
Yeah.
We don't know when. I think it's a hologram to Ben.
Yeah.
But that very well could be Finn's role. Then is to give her focus to tell her what the end goal is here, because maybe he's a little more enlightened now after talking to Rose about all this, and he understands it more, because he himself the whole time he's like, I'm not about this army. Like, I'm going to find Rey and protect Rey.
Right.
So maybe he now even realizes it's something bigger, and it's more than just, what I initially thought it was. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think you're onto something though.
They're gonna continue to grow and develop in that way for sure. Yeah, I don't know. It's just something that, man,
it's fun because we have no idea where it's going. It just
no clue.
Frustrating.
But the more we have these conversations, like I feel like,
you
you start to kind of wrap your mind around maybe what can happen. And I like the model of 6 with a mixture of some 5 elements, in episode 9. If you have to do it all in one movie, I mean, my gosh, then like a lot of ground to cover. And it's going to have to be, the writing is going to have to be huge. The dialogue is going to have to tell you a lot. They're going to have to do a lot, convey a lot without, wasting a lot of screen time.
Yeah.
It's like every line has got to be, has to have layers.
Yeah.
Has to connect. It's got to be, you know what I'm saying? So it's a task.
Can't be no Canto Bite 20-minute,
No.
horse chase.
Nope. It's really going to have to be like the editing, everything. It's going to be, it's going to be a huge task if they can pull this off.
Absolutely.
So at least from my humble little perspective here.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
I don't know. Any other thoughts, whisperings, wonderings, things that are on your mind about 9?
No, I think more's gonna come to light soon. Obviously, it's still early. We're in November.
It's way early, man.
A whole over a year.
Yeah, we do.
But it's I don't know. It's good.
We wanted to get an initial couple in.
Yes. No. Well, but that's the thing. We've speculated quite a bit already, but they continue to progress. They continue to mature. We're asking more questions now, which is good. I think we're being a little more critical, which we should.
Because it helps us figure out how they're going to pull it off.
Exactly.
And helps you think through it. And by the way, going forward, we'll try to be, we'll be labeling these episode 9 speculations. So you just know that, like, if you don't want to think about that and you just want to walk in completely because part of the problem is that people went into Last Jedi having watched all these videos on YouTube,
Yeah.
having listened to all these different, build up in their mind how things were going to go.
Yep.
And it did not go. Thank goodness they actually opened with that line. It's not going to go the way you expect.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because really, then they can kind of say, "We told you so."
We told you so.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
And maybe there's a lot more going on behind the scenes than we realize. I hope so.
We still may not understand it.
We may not. Yeah.
Could have been a lot of.
Last thing I wanted to mention real quick, because we talked in the last episode that kids, this is their like the question that I got was, is this going to continue?
Mm-hmm.
Now, if the answer is yes, then we're okay, aren't we?
Well, I mean, there's probably going to be a 10-year break, but yeah.
Well, I'm just saying, you could actually do, this could be, the story will continue, and it's sort of like, this could be episode 3, we keep comparing it to episode 6.
Yeah.
But, and seeing some grand ending there. Things did not end that way in episode 3 at all.
Yeah.
And so that could be the way in which it ends. And that would tell us a lot about what they're going to do. Because if we think it's going to end like episode 6, boy, then we are probably going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
Do you not think so? Because I just don't see them covering that much ground to get us to a victory celebration on Endor.
Well, and that could be what, Adam Driver's talking about.
Yeah.
That they're working towards something.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be definitive at the end of, 9.
Right.
He could be striving to become the Emperor from the Old Republic. We don't know.
Right. Yeah. Something.
And then he develops later on, and he's the most menacing evil that the galaxy's ever seen.
Yeah.
We just don't know. We're assuming that he's saying that something's going to wrap up in this, and they're never going to talk about it again. Everyone's talking about this is it.
Yeah.
Every article you see that this is the end of the Skywalker saga.
There's no way. I tell you right now, I said it years ago, and I didn't have a podcast at the time.
Unfortunately, we were in high school at the time.
Unfortunately, I did not. But I told all my friends when they would talk about after post episode 6, they're like, "As it's done, it's over, man. You're never going to get another movie."
No, George Lucas said it was over.
He used to say it, and I said, "No, there's no way."
Yeah, I remember
that. You remember? I
do.
I told my cousins, I told my friends, anyone who would listen.
Yeah.
Episode 7 is coming. He has an idea. The reason I thought that is because I had read some articles and I had seen some of his interviews and different things where he had talked about maybe his idea.
Yeah.
And the man had an idea.
He did.
And and then from the get-go, he's got this 9 saga, thing built up in his head. So he knows where he would like it to go.
Yeah.
And he probably dreams about it at night.
Yeah.
And so I thought to myself, it's going to happen eventually. Yeah. And so to me now, since it's gone out of his hands, and this isn't how he would have handled it, he would have done things differently, I'm sure. Yeah, just because he's a different person, different mind's vision. But to me, I feel more comfortable saying, going into this movie, thinking it's more of like an episode 3.
Yeah.
Because, dude, if we think it's going to be an episode 6-like thing, there's nothing. There is no rebel fleet. There is no resistance fleet.
Yeah.
How would we even get to that point? We'd have to go 2-3 years and have to have this all built back up and stuff.
That's why when we see those pictures where it's a more primitive resistance, it seems, on horseback,
right?
That tells me that could very well pick up with them on the Falcon.
Yeah.
And then lead us to the build up for, the installments to come.
Exactly, the installments to come, because that's what I'm saying, is that this is your moneymaker, these are your characters, this is your time to sort of, that's fine. Take a 5-year break from it. I don't care. That's fine. Put some insurance policies on these people. You know what I mean? Maybe backlog some dialogue and stuff for different. But just tell me that there's going to be more. I guarantee you that 3 is going to come along. They'll do the things that they have listed, and then they're going to come back and say, here's episode 10, 11, and 12.
Yeah.
And if they do that, then wherever they ended, it's allowed to feel more like a 3 than it is a 6.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, when I think about just...
It's easier.
It is.
It's easier from their point of view, from their perspective,
It is. And what could take place in that time after maybe the sides are established? Maybe Kylo then is that super villain, and
all they have to say is the story's not over.
Exactly.
That's it.
Star Wars will return.
Yeah.
Just imagine that's what it's going to say at the end of the movie.
Yeah, it will.
The Skywalker saga will return.
Yeah, we'll continue.
Wow. I just got goosebumps thinking about it.
I know.
Man.
Oh boy,
it's a lot to digest. But
It
I
is.
mean, if they're gonna finish it as, it's got to be a couple parts.
Yeah,
It's got to be.
yeah, I'm with you. All right, well, hey, thanks for listening. We just, quick little speculation. Had to get it
quick hour and 20
You know,
minutes.
in. Yeah, whatever, no big deal. We love you guys. Leave us some comments down below. Let us know what you think for episode 9. Some early
Yes.
speculation. If you've seen some of the photos and things, and you want to kind of talk about those, leave some comments down below in the YouTube or on Facebook and whatever. You send us an email. We'll definitely talk about those. We've been kind of we will respond to any comments that we got from the previous week's episode. We couldn't do that this week because we recorded too soon and didn't give anybody any time to really go make those comments. But we will in the next episode once we see those come through. So, all right, my friend, I think that's it.
I think that's it too. Yeah, let's have some folks share their theories. We need more speculation, and we need more of it. We want to participate in it. So leave them on Facebook. Leave them on the YouTube comments. Let's get some dialogue going. I want to know.
It is really interesting when people bring up their thoughts, because we've all got a different idea of where this could go, and so I like it to be really open ended and to see where people would take it.
Absolutely.
So you're in control. You get to decide where it goes, and we'll discuss it here on Rebel Watch, because that's what we do. So, all right, guys. Thanks again, and as always, may the Force be with you.